Good evening, gallery. Good evening, virtual gallery, and good evening, councillors. Please be upstanding for acknowledgement of the country and the world. I'd like to acknowledge and extend my appreciation to the Dja Dja Wurrung people, the traditional custodians of the land that we are standing on today. Today, we pay our respects to leaders and elders, past, present, and emerging, for they hold the memories, the traditions, the culture, and the hopes of all Dja Dja Wurrung people. Now the prayer. Almighty God, we ask you to be present in this council, direct and guide our deliberations. We ask you to grant us wisdom and sensitivity as we deal with the business of Central Goldfields Shire. May each decision that we make advance the well-being of all our residents. This we pray. Amen. Item number 2, apologies. We do have one apology from Councillor Chris Meadows Taylor, who underwent keyhole surgery on his back last night. It's a long procedure under a general anaesthetic, and this morning he was walking around the ward. So it was a very successful operation at this point in time, and I wish him all the best, Councillor Chris Meadows Taylor. No leave of absence. Conflicts of interest, councillor. Are there any conflicts of interest on tonight's agenda?
I have one on 8.8. Business interest in hospital.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. You can take yourself out of the room at that time. Thank you. Confirmation of minutes from previous council meetings. Do I have a mover? Councillor Elizabeth Long.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
And do I have a seconder? I assume that's all been read. Great. Thank you, Councillor Brandrup. I move motion. All in favour? It's passed. Petitions, minutes of delegated and advisory committees. There are none. Petitions, there are none. Now we'll go to the officers' reports. Officer report 8.1, the quarterly finance report, September 2023. Do I have a mover for this motion? Councillor Geoff Lovett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move the council receives and note the attached finance report for the period to 30 September 2023.
Thank you, Councillor Lovett. Do I have a second? Councillor Murphy. Councillor Lovett, please.
I'm here in the gallery.
Not working.
And your there you go.
It's now. Thank you, Madam Mayor. The income statement for the period ending 30 September shows a deficit of $900,000. This is a $2 million variance on budget. The timing of grant income and recognition of that represents the bulk of this variance. Council's balance sheet remains strong, with a strong cash position of 9.7 million and a working capital of 112%. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Murphy.
Nothing to say. I'm happy with it. Thank you.
I will put this motion. All in favour? Anyone against? No one against. This motion is moved. Carried. Thank you. 8.2, Governance Rules Review. The report represents the Governance Rules 2023 review for adoption. Do I have a mover? Councillor Gerard Murphy.
So, recommendation is that council adopt the governance rules 2023 review as presented, with the following amendment. Division 3, number 22, 19.1.10 reads council reports, comma, council general business. So reads council reports, comma, general business. I'll restate that again. The council adopt the governance rules 23 review as presented with the following amendment. Division 3, number 22, 19.1.10. Council reports, comma, general business.
Thank you, councillor Murphy. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Councillor Emma Davies. Councillor Murphy, would you like to speak?
But this is the review of the governance rules. It'll be reviewed, it'll be relooked at again in 2024. With the following amendment means that we're putting in general business. We've had it in there before, but we need to put it back in. So it becomes part of the council report and general business, which basically in number 20, division 3, number 22, it actually says that you have your 24-hour notice to the other councillors what you're going to do, what your general business will be, and follow through. It can't be done just on the night. And so I've got some general business to be allocated. I'm happy with the governance. The governance rules and it keeps us on the straight and narrow. We need these, and I'm happy right across the board that we've reviewed this and we've amended this today. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Murphy. Councillor Villiers.
Nothing to add, thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to put this, does any other councillor wish to speak? Thank you, councillor Sprout.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Let me start by saying that I agree with everything that's in this document. However, I'm speaking against this motion on the basis of excluding a public question time meeting procedures. I understand and accept the reasons given in the response to the submission, and I agree that there are many ways for residents and ratepayers to have their queries addressed in a far more efficient way than through public meetings. But I can also understand people's want to have questions asked and answered in a public forum. However, a public forum is more public than ever, and with live streams and recordings stored online comes a different level of responsibility. Any question time going forward would need to have a fair amount of controls placed on them to ensure that questions were appropriate for a recorded live stream and that the forum would not be abused by any individual or organisation trying to disrupt the process of council, which there has been a recent history of. It's within council's ability to work out how to navigate this territory to ensure any public questions could be addressed appropriately. However, I also do understand time and resources this may take to do. Arguably, this wouldn't be the most efficient use of council resources and time given the numerous other options available to anyone seeking answers. Sum up, I see both the arguments for and against, and I agree with everything in the document, but ultimately the impression and image that not having a time allocated for public questions doesn't sit right with me. I appreciate all the people who put so much work into this and thank them for their efforts and advice throughout the process. However, this is how I will vote tonight.
Thank you, councillor Sprout.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? I'm going to put this to a vote. Those in favour of this motion?
Point of order. Spoken against, so there's a right reply.
I don't need to write.
No. Thank you. I'll put this, councillor Lovett.
No, I'm voting.
Oh, I'll put this to a vote. All in favour? Those against? 2 against. Thank you. This motion is carried. 8.3. Property leasing and licensing review 2023. Purpose of this report is to present the information that draft property leasing and licensing policy, formerly property occupancy policy 2023 review. Do I have a move?
I'll move.
Councillor Emmett Villiers. Would you like?
Yep. This policy has been a long time. Sorry, okay. So the motion is that council adopt the property leasing and licensing policy 2023 review as presented.
Thank you, councillor. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Wayne Sprout. Councillor Villiers, would you like to speak?
Thank you. This policy has been a long time in the making, and I've been quite keen to get it done because it affects and has an impact on a number of organisations and community groups in the Shire. This policy is a principles-based document and designed to give people a comprehensive and overarching understanding of the principles. Guidelines and procedures are being developed concurrently. And I would just like to add that it will be great to have these guidelines and procedures done by the end of March. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor. Seconder?
Nothing further to add, thank you.
Any other council wish to speak to this motion? I will put this motion. All in favour? Anyone against? No one against. This motion is carried. 8.4. Disposal or sale of council assets and policy update. Do I have a mover for this motion? Councillor Sprout.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I'd like to move the council adopt the disposal or sale of council assets and land policy 2023 review as presented.
Thank you, councillor Sprout. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Murphy. Councillor Sprout, would you like to speak?
Yeah, Madam Mayor. From time to time, council have the need to sell assets or land for various reasons. This process needs to have a policy to guide the process for any such actions. As you could expect, there are very specific things to consider when doing so. And we also need to comply with the Local Government Act 2020. The current document was for review and has reference to the Local Government Act 1989 with the rollout of the 2020 Act needed updating. This policy fully explains council's position on the approach to the disposal or sale of council assets or land to the community, but has been updated to include the provisions within the Act.
Thank you, councillor Sprout. Councillor Murphy, wish to speak?
Madam Mayor, I'd just like to concur with councillor Sprout. We need to update policies as we go, and this one for disposal of land or sale of assets and land is a good one, so we're ready to do. If something comes up, we've got a policy to go back to and make it happen. And this is good to have this update.
Thank you. Any other councillor wish to speak to this motion? No one wishes to speak. I will now put this motion. All in favour? Anyone against this motion? No one against this motion. This motion is carried. Item 8.5, Annual Action Plan 2023-2024. I'm going to move.
I have a question.
Yes, councillor. Yes.
The question is, and I'm not sure who to direct it to. In the action plan, there is a reference to the review of the local laws. And I would just like to know how far we are with regards to the process.
I think that will be to Matt Erdy.
Thanks for the question, councillor. In terms of the process, we're very shortly, probably within the next, in the November-December period, going to commence a round of public consultation with the community to understand what they believe is working well or not working well with the local law, what are some of the key concerns or key amenity issues in the municipality. That will then, the data we gain from them will be used as we help shape the review of the local law from there. To anticipate that this project will commence shortly and then be carried out over probably a period of about 18 to 24 months because of the substantial nature of the law review.
Thank you.
Matt Erdy. Would you like to speak as seconder?
Okay. No, thank you. I'm happy with the response and the action plan is very thorough. Thank you.
Elizabeth, would you like to speak?
I move that council adopt the council plan annual action plan 2023 to 2024.
Okay, and Anna, you are the seconder of the.
I'll second, yeah.
Would you like to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's my great pleasure to move this motion that council adopt the council annual action plan 23-24. So section 90 of the Local Government Act 2020 requires council to prepare a council plan for a period of at least the next 4 financial years. Council is required to report annually on its progress against its council plan, and to facilitate this reporting requirement, council develops an annual action plan, which is reported each quarter at council meetings. I really enjoy these quarterly updates as it shows how much work is being done by council in a clear and concise format, and I especially like the traffic lights, so you can see exactly what everything's up to. So far, 73 actions have been completed in the council plan and have now been removed from the annual action plan. 20 new actions have been added and a number of items that were repeated are consolidated. Capital works projects relating to the council plan have also been added. And another change is that the format of the report has been updated to match the structure of the council plan to make it easier for annual reporting. It's exciting to read this annual action plan 23-24 because it shows what is in the works for the next 12 months from a strategic perspective. And I look forward to following its progress over the next 12 months. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor De Villiers has seconded it. Do you wish to speak?
No.
Any other councillor wish to speak to this motion? No other councillor? Oh, councillor.
I do, I'm just upset that Councillor Meadows Taylor isn't in. This is his baby. And so I'm not speaking to him because he's into this.
He'll be watching.
He'll be watching, is he one if he's watching? Yeah, I hope so, he's watching. There you go.
Thank you, councillors. I will now put this motion. Those in favour? Anyone against this motion? Nobody against this motion. This motion is carried. Thank you. 8.6. The purpose of this report is to present a recommendation to award a contract G1825-23 Maryborough Town Hall electrical and AV upgrade works following a selective tender process as a result of a public expression of interest process. Do I have a mover for this? Councillor Lovett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move that Council 1 award contract G1825-23 Maryborough Town Hall electrical and AV works to EPM&C Proprietary Limited for a lump sum of $539,639.20, including GST, and 2, authorises the Chief Executive to formally execute the contract and approve additional spend as required for contingencies and variations up to 20%, $107,873.04, including GST above the contract sum.
Thank you, Councillor Lovett. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Murphy. Councillor Lovett, would you like to speak to this?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Maryborough Town Hall building has been closed since 2021 due to safety concerns with the existing site electrical infrastructure. After several unsuccessful attempts to secure a contractor to carry out the electrical upgrade in 2022, officers revised their procurement strategy to a 2-step tender process. A public expression of interest was advertised in June 2023. As a result of that process, we shortlisted a number of contractors. The tender was made available to 2 shortlisted contractors. August 2023, Council received 1 conforming tender response and 0 non-conforming tender responses. The evaluation panel identified EPM&C Proprietary Limited have demonstrated the capability and capacity to complete the works as detailed in the contract, and were able to demonstrate experience, cognizant of projects like the Town Hall in Maryborough, including heritage listed assets. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, councillor Lovett. Councillor Murphy, would you like?
Thank you. As Councillor Lovett said, it was 2021 and it closed down because of electrical issues, and it's finally getting there, and after a few false starts, we're finally getting there, and overall it may be a $649,000 maybe, right? And that's pretty good. That's a pretty good outcome in dollars cents. And there, in the scope of works, there's a fair amount of areas which the public can read, or you can read online what's going to happen. And we're going to upgrade the council chambers upstairs. It can be used for a variety of people, but also so we can have council meetings back there again. And it's all part of it. I'm just, almost just concerned is we need to also work on certain other areas. This is not for the stage area, it's for the town hall properly. And the auditorium area and all the exit lights and distribution boards and so on and so on. So we need to work on how to get extra money, use extra money to do the stage area, and there's still some pretty other things in there, it's pretty leaks and things to get done. And hopefully by the time this is all finished, we'll be able to get back in, use the stage and be able to have events and balls and theatre, etc. in there and make it our prized town hall as it once was. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Murphy. Would any other councillors wish to speak to this item? No one else wishes to speak. I will put this motion. All those in favour, 8.6. Any councillors against this motion?
Yes, no.
No. I would like to move this motion. All in favour? Yes. That is carried, and I do apologise for my watch. I will take my watch. Oh, sorry, that's so unprofessional. 8.7, tender evaluation. Do I have a mover for 8.7? Councillor Jeff Lovett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move that Council 1 award contract G 1806-23 for the provision of internal audited services to RSD Audit Proprietary Limited, trading as RSD Audit. The contract sum of $136,350 exclusive of GST, based on schedule of rates for the initial term of 3 years. And 2, note that the contract has a 3-year option to extend, subject to council's decision and the contractor's performance.
Thank you, councillor. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Murphy, would you like to speak to this, councillor?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The internal and external audit functions are one of the most important that councils undertake in line with the relevant legislative and policy requirements. The Audit and Risk Committee has an important role in this process. AFS and Associates Proprietary Limited have been carrying out the internal audit function for council since 2016. The current contract between AFS and the council expires in October 2023. Accordingly, council undertook the procurement process for the provision of internal audit services in order to award a new contract commencing in October 2023. Submissions were received from 4 tenderers. The tender evaluation panel undertook a comprehensive assessment of all submissions, conducted interviews with the shortlisted tenderers. Based on the assessment of their submissions, The tender evaluation panel recommended that internal audit services be awarded to RDS Audit Proprietary Limited for the contract sum of $136,350, exclusive of GST. Whilst the cost of the contract is under the Chief Executive Officer's financial delegation, the independence of the internal auditor is better preserved if the decision is made by council. Hence, it's before us tonight.
Thank you, councillor Lovett. Councillor Murphy, wish to speak.
Yes, thanks, councillor Lovett. As we're both on the Audit and Risk Committee, this is an important tender evaluation and to go forward with RSD audit. I'd like to thank ASF for their work over several years, and it's no reflection on their work that the tender evaluation through the officers and everything that we do in recruitment and governance has sorted out the score for RSD audit. I'm very happy with that. So let's go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Murphy. Would any other councillor wish to speak to this item? No one wishes to speak. I will put this item. Those in favour? Anyone against this item? No one against this item. I will now state is carried. Next item is 8.8, and councillor Murphy will be taking himself out of the room as he has to a conflict of interest. Thank you, councillor Murphy. Thank you, Mark. Sorry. Do you hear that then? Yes, thank you. Better. Thank you. 8.8, planning application 05-23 for 65 High Street, Maryborough. The purpose of this report is to seek a council determination for planning permit application number D052-23 for buildings and works for the development of the land for a drive-through coffee shop in the commercial zone 1 at 65 High Street, Maryborough. Do I have a mover of this motion? Councillor Wayne Sproul.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the recommendation that council, having caused notice of planning permit application number DO52/23 to be given under section 52 of the Planning and Environment Act 1987 in the Central Goldfields Planning Scheme, and having considered all the matters generally required, resolves to issue a notice of decision to grant a permit in respect of planning permit application number DO52/23 for the land known and described as 65 High Street, Maryborough, for buildings and works for the development of the drive-through coffee shop in accordance with the endorsed plans and subject to the following conditions listed in the document.
Thank you, councillor Sproul. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Lovett. Councillor Sproul, do you wish to speak to this?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This application was a tricky one, and one that would have normally been dealt with by officers, as it had two objectives, but it was called in for review by one or more councillors. When I say tricky, the application itself is straightforward, but the objectives concerns added complexity and emotion, which in my role as a councillor is often present, but must be ignored. This is by no means an easy task. Our decision on this matter must be based upon our planning guidelines and the advice given, and we must not let our emotions sway our decision. I must also add that we are not allowed to consider the financial impact of new businesses on surrounding businesses. When I first saw this application, I personally thought we do not need another coffee shop in town, but that's not in my power to decide. On reviewing the application further and hearing from both the applicant and the objectors, I'm satisfied that the recommendation fits our planning guidelines and is appropriate. There have been some additional conditions that have been placed on the applicant around signage and car parking facilities. I want to acknowledge both the applicant and the objectors for their time, and I hope they understand my position on this matter.
Thank you, councillor Sproul. Councillor Lovett, do you wish to speak to this?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I can honestly say when I sat at this table tonight, I had absolutely no idea how I was going to vote. And in fact, probably 2 minutes ago, I was at exactly the same position, but now we're at the wire and I have to make a decision. I've given this a lot of thought. I have to say last week we had a very impressive presentation from the proponents. I felt the concept was extremely well thought through. They had done their homework and had answered all the questions that councillors posed. I actually had the thought that they answered them too well. I actually thought it was somewhat rehearsed, but it was a very good presentation. On the other hand, and all week I've had this nagging doubt about the traffic flow and the potential problems this proposal, if carried, will bring. Clarendon Street is a high traffic flow area with the police station, the dental practice, the rear of the Scout shop, O'Halloran's carpet, and the furniture store next door. I think I've looked at the plans. If the cars can enter from both what I call north and south, from both directions, that will have problems because we're already having those problems down at KFC. If they enter from the town hall end and can only do a left-hand turn in and a left-hand turn out, that will alleviate some of the problems, but in my mind, there will still be potential congestion problems. Having said all that, as I said, I was impressed with the presentation. I think what the proponents spoke to us, they will bring something different to the hospitality sector here in Maryborough. I think if this motion is carried, the public might be pleasantly surprised at what will happen to a dead area, what I call the Eclipse Motors car yard that hasn't been used for 15 or 20 years. So at the end of the day, I am going to vote in favour of this motion. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Levin. Any other councillors wish to speak? Councillor Long.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As a wise person said, I am betwixt and between as well. I think it's an exciting prospect for the town to have something done with, as Councillor Lovett said, a dead area. I have a real big concern about the U-turn that cars will have to make. So it's a small lot. And I raised this at our briefing the other day, that if a large vehicle goes into this new coffee shop, drive-through coffee shop, that they might get stuck, and a new signage will need to be installed advising maximum vehicle size. However, I'm still concerned that perhaps people will not see that sign or will ignore it. So that is my big one. However, I do think it'll be a good thing for the town because it'll do something with something that's been empty for a very long time. So I will be voting yes.
Thank you, Councillor Long. Any other councillors? I will put this motion. All in favour? Any councillors against this motion? No councillors against this motion. I will now vote unanimous. Invite Councillor Murphy back in for the next item. Councillor Murphy, we're up to item 9. Notice of motion, there are no notice of motion. Item 10. Now I would like Matt Irving, our General Manager, Infrastructure, Assets and Planning, to explain why we have urgent business this evening.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So officers have brought a report tonight for council's consideration, and that we are seeking to be treated as urgent business. This report relates to the delivery of the flood recovery program and works associated with repairing roads, bridges and associated infrastructure. In March 2023, council awarded a schedule of rates contracts to multiple suppliers following a compliant procurement process to carry out flood repair works. Since the time, suppliers have been engaged under these schedule of rates contracts with works packages awarded in line with the financial delegation of the CEO. However, a further round of works packages are set to be awarded shortly, and there are also further ones to come, with the ones that are considered to be coming up shortly around the $2 million mark and above the financial delegation of the CEO. When these contracts were appropriately awarded by council in March 2023, no resolution was passed that gave the CEO appropriate delegation to award packages above existing financial delegation. As a result, there would be a need for these works packages and future ones within the program of works to come before council for award. The intent of the procurement process and the setup of contracts was always intended to allow for efficient delivery of the works, and the limits in financial delegation that exist prohibits from this occurring. The reason for this coming before you to consider an urgent business tonight is to allow for these critical works to occur in a timely manner, with contractors indicating readiness to commence work very shortly. A delay in considering this could jeopardise delivery of the program, which is very important for the community to get these road assets back and operational for use, and even potential loss of funding. Officers are seeking for council to provide appropriate delegation to the CEO for expenditure up to 10.78 million, including GST, which is the estimate provided under the previous award of contracts to carry out the flood recovery works program and the maximum to deliver these works. I'm bringing this forward for consideration in urgent business tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Early. I would like a motion or put a motion to accept urgent business. Councillor Lovett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move a motion to allow an item of urgent business to be discussed for resolution tonight.
A seconder for this motion. Brown. I now we accept. All those in favour? 5, 6. No one against. I now like to find a mover for the recommendation. Councillor Murphy.
The recommendation. The council delegate the chief executive officer, CEO. Financial delegation is spent up to 10,780,000, including GST, under the previously approved contract G1760-2023 flood emergency works civil to deliver critical road and related infrastructure affairs across the municipality.
Thank you, Councillor. Is there a seconder? Councillor Long. Councillor Murphy, you'd like to speak to this?
Yes, this urgent business is about getting on with it. We could, if we don't do this, we could wait another month or another 2 months. We'd have to, something might happen next week and we have to wait. We're allowing the CEO to just get on with it, which is what we should be doing. Let's think about where we are at the moment, what this is about. This is going to do work packages scheduled to commence within the next couple of weeks at approximately value of 2 million. Some of the key projects that live under these work packages included Scotts Road, Talbot, Avoca Road, Talbot, Woodwood Road, the Elbows. To facilitate efficient delivery of the flood recovery works program and execute the contracts in line with the original intent, it is recommended that the approval is sought from council to allow for financial spend up to 10,780,000, which is including GSTs to be delegated to CEO, which we're doing tonight. So the process of obtaining funding under the Victorian Disaster Recovery Funding Arrangements, DRFA, is extensive and onerous. It is a lot of work, with considerable information, external approval required for programs to be determined eligible to receive. The officers have spent significant time and resources over the past 9 months to communicate with key approval agencies to gain approval and facilitate the delivery of the program. And that's why we as council just can't stop it. We've got to keep moving forward because now it's happening and the community wants these things to happen. It's been a year since those floods, and we need to work with each other and with the CEO and with infrastructure to make these things happen. So the officers have consulted council's governance to do this, procurement and finance departments and executive management team in the preparation of this report. And also we've chatted about it. Financial resource implications, which is very good for this community. And what's the office been able to do? The flood recovery program is being funded under the Goldfields Shire Council's approved Victorian Disaster Recovery Funding Arrangements. That's a DRFA. It's not our money. We've got $10 million to get on with it. And this allows the CEO and Matt Evans to make the decisions, get on with it, do what we have to do. So I'm very happy in recommending this. I think if we took a backward step and said, oh, no, we'll just go a normal procurement, things don't get done and we need to get these things done for the community. We need to do Maryborough, Tolwood, Timor, Denali, Carriswood, Yalaba, all the other little towns. Eventually need to see what we have to do. I think we know what we have to do. Which way are we going and spend this money wisely and go forward with it and not dilly-dally. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Councillor Long, you should speak.
Thank you, Mayor. Only thing I want to add is that I think this is a really important thing that we need to decide on. I get contacted by my constituents and 95% of those conversations are about the state of the roads. My rural ward, Flynn ward, like the whole Central Goldfields needs a lot of work. So yeah, I'm hoping that this will go through tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak to this motion? Councillor, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to vote in favour of this, but I do wish to just ask a question of the officers. This contract G1760-2023 was brought to us for the first time in March 2023. So my question is just, and we received this morning, why wasn't there a more timely planning done and this presented to us in a more timely fashion for approval for the CEO to with the delegation?
General Manager Matt Irving, can you answer this question?
I'm there.
Thank you. Thank you for the question, councillor. In terms of when this was done before March 2023, in hindsight, we should have permitted and allowed for this delegation to correspond with this, because always the intention was to go, when we went through the compliant procurement process, was to allow us to get on with the works and get things done. Up until this point in time, we have been spending funds in accordance with the financial delegation of the CEO. It's only just become sort of aware in this recent time that we're about to, as I said, award works packages of around approximately 2 million, and there'll be further to come, that we became aware that the original resolution didn't allow for that financial delegation to occur, and we would then be non-compliant with our delegations. And so we want to make sure that we're bringing ourselves in compliance with the Local Government Act requirements and the policies and procedures we have in place as an organisation. In terms of us, it is unfortunately we found out about this, late last week, and we really want to get on with this work because it is critical that we get this work happening for the community, and also that we can align with the funding agreement guidelines.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Irving. Any other questions from councillors? Any other statements? I will put this motion. All in favour? Any councillors against this motion? No councillors against this motion? This is carried. Item number 11, confidential business, there is none. Item 12, we're at the closing of the meeting. I would like to thank you all for joining us, those in the gallery and those in the virtual gallery. Thank you very much. Council meeting closed. Thank you.